is here. Now, broadcasting from the underground command post, deep in the bowels of a hidden bunker, somewhere under the brick and steel of a nondescript building, we've once again made contact with our leader, Marc Levin.
Hello, everybody. Marc Levin here. Our number, 877-381-3811, 877-381-3811. Here in the bunker, the snow outside is beginning to pile up. They get 8 inches, 10 inches, who knows? But we're all set. This is, after all, bunker. And many of you across the country have really been slammed with the coldest global warming on record. Boston's had the 3rd greatest snowfall on record. I think I'm going to start a movement, I'm very serious, for more global warming. If we can adjust the heat in this country, why the hell do we put up with this? Every place should be Florida. You agree with me, Mr. Producer? You want to go skiing, you go to Canada. There's so much going on in the world today and in our own country, threatening liberty, threatening humanity. Sometimes it's difficult to know when to start, but for me today it was not difficult to know when to start. Coptic Christians, 21 men who went to Libya to find work, that's all they did. Taken kidnapped or hostage, paraded along the ocean's edge, and simultaneously decapitated in a 5-minute period. I can't even watch these videos. While Barack Obama's playing golf. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to tell you today that more and more people are calling this World War III. I've been trying to get this out there now for months and months and months, and I just heard it on cable TV, so I want to congratulate them. And it's a caliphate, as I talk about over and over again and have for years, and others are finally, whoa, it looks like a caliphate. It's World War III. Whether we're engaged or not, it's World War III. And the stench of the 1930s is here. Smell it. And nobody can hide from it. It's not like the New York Times covering up the Holocaust. Oh, yes, it did. Certainly tried to. Now with social media, the internet, TV, radio, and everybody's home and so forth, there's no denying what's going on now. None. This nation at some point needs to rise up, throw off its weak leaders, install real statesmen, and beat the S out of these people. People. Subhumans. And we will. Unfortunately, it'll cost us more lives and more treasure because of the idiot who's president of the United States in California for 3 days playing damn golf again. Yes, it's World War III. Yes, there's a caliphate building. Yes, it's spreading all over the world. While we hollow out our own military, while our borders are wide open, just waiting to get attacked again. Now, I want you to listen to something. I've never in my life, that I'm aware of anyway, have played 2.5 minutes of anything on the NBC Nightly News. I don't know how else to get the word out, other than through the mouths of the victims. I am able to do something behind this microphone that was almost impossible to do 80 years ago, during the rising genocide and Holocaust in Europe. Well, here we are. And I'll speak up for the Christians. as I speak up for the real Muslims, as I speak up for the Jews and everybody else. I'll speak up for the Yazidi women that Barack Obama ignores, as he ignores the women in Nigeria. Richard Engel, prior to really reporting on what's going on in the last year or two, was your typical liberal foreign correspondent. Very liberal, as a matter of fact. And his father was a reporter, too. But he's there. This guy has guts. He's there in the Middle East. He's in Iraq and other places. And he spoke to a Yazidi woman, a very young woman. And I want you to hear what she had to say. America, we are not going to censor anything that's going on. I want you to hear what she had to say and what your president is almost completely ignoring. Cut one, go.
The suffering of the Yazidi people. Indelible images of men, women, and children reaching up for help. Food, water, blankets, dropped on the Sinjar mountain by helicopters, many of them American. But help didn't reach everyone. In the refugee camps of northern Iraq, we met survivors of the horror that went on in the village of Kuchu. Its people, seen here in better times, couldn't reach the mountain, so they were still in the village when ISIS arrived. When they took the men, we didn't know how many were going to be killed, says 19-year-old Farida, who didn't want her face to be shown. In fact, ISIS killed almost all of the men, but they had other plans for the women. They were grabbed by the hundreds and sold off to ISIS fighters as the spoils of war. ISIS is reviving the barbaric tradition of the slave trade, proudly showing its fighters in this ISIS video discussing the Yazidi women they're about to buy. We showed Farida the video. She instantly recognized the men. I saw that one, and this guy, she said. I don't know their names, but I saw them. She saw them laughingly inspecting more than 80 Yazidi girls, picking out the ones they wanted. All of the girls were screaming and crying because they didn't want to go with them, she says, so they beat the girls and dragged them away by force. Farida was raped repeatedly for 3 months. They sold me from one man to the next, she says. The ordeal was even harder for the younger ones. They raped girls who were 9, 10 years old, or even 8, she says. They would say the older ones know something about men, while the younger ones know nothing. Hawaida is one of those innocents that the ISIS fighters sought out. She's just 12. She didn't know what rape meant, only that she woke up bleeding. He was old, she says, about the man who bought her. He was 50. Somehow Hawaida escaped, but she's so badly traumatized that only now, 3 months later, is she able, haltingly, to even speak again. She and Farida are being coaxed back by this remarkable woman, Kiman Rashid, from a charity called Wadi. The girls call her Mom. Their real mothers are still being held by ISIS. Farida had never seen the video of the ISIS men. I see this, she says, and I think of all the girls they still have because they are doing everything imaginable to them. We just want justice.
We just want justice. Now you know why I call them Islamo-Nazis? It doesn't get any sicker than this. And I'll tell you what is truly upsetting and frustrating. That there aren't more voices in this country speaking out to wipe out these subhuman cockroaches. Sadly, I must tell you, I don't hear it from the left. I don't hear it from the radical women's groups in this country. If you don't get free condoms, they go nuts. But hearing about 8-year-olds, 9-year-olds, 10-year-olds, because they're not in this country, I guess, apparently it hasn't moved them to speak out. Or the others on the left in this country, like this group CARE, a Hamas front group, looking for any occasion to tear down this country, our country. looking for civil rights violations, quote unquote, where none exist. And yet, in the midst of Islam, in the heart of Islam, overseas, they say very little, if anything. Because they're frauds. They're all frauds. They're not compassionate. They're not humane. The people you hear speaking the loudest about this, I hate to say it, but it's true, are not Americans generally, but they're conservative Americans. Conservative Americans who've had enough. Yes, it's World War III. Yes, there's this caliphate, and it's growing throughout the Middle East, North Africa, moving into East Africa, soon Central Africa, gobbling up Yemen, gobbling up Iraq, gobbling up Syria, Iran, the Gaza Strip, may I say, and a handful of Arab leaders trying to fight it off, Egypt, Jordan, Saudi Arabia, a few others, and that's it, as if they can stop this. And our president on another damn golfing trip. 218 rounds of golf. 218 rounds of golf. As the New York Daily News reports, imagine playing golf 24 hours a day for more than 6.5 weeks. That's the equivalent. Nobody plays 218 rounds of golf in 6 years unless you're a professional or amateur golfer. Certainly not a president. Certainly not a president. He's not my president. I impeached him a long time ago from my life. I don't know what the hell he is. All I know is he likes flying around, likes playing golf, and so does his wife. She's on a secret vacation, you know, in Aspen. Did you read that, Mr. Producer? So he's in Palm Springs, she's in Aspen. That's a funny way to spend Valentine's together, isn't it? Actually, they didn't spend it together at all. But that's his problem. And she's got another trip coming in the spring break. She and the kids are going to Japan. Sure, why not? Get it all in. 2 years left. There's no excusing Obama. Nothing excuses his conduct. Nothing. In the face of what's going on in this country. And all over the world. He's got Benjamin Netanyahu in Israel as the enemy. Trying to concoct civil rights violations in our own country when some left-wing piece of crap murders 3 American Muslims. And then, of course, the Islamo-Nazis in Copenhagen, busy killing, killed a guard also outside of their main synagogue there. Obama's statement, nothing about the target being Jewish. Even the leaders of these now failed European countries are saying the Jews are being targeted. There's a rise of anti-Semitism, but not Obama. Not Obama. He just watches. Thinks about stuff. Maybe order a couple sorties. I want you young people out there to know something. This is not how America was. I want you to understand something else. With the right president, we can fight and beat this enemy. And I mentioned this when I was on Hannity's TV show on Fox News Channel, and it's been repeated ever since, months ago, that Obama's responsible for ISIS and the way he left Iraq. And to underscore it, the last few times I've been on, I made it clear, and I said, Obama has blood on his hands. Biden has blood on his hands. Do they act like it? No excuse now. No excuse for not knowing what's going on now. Oh, we didn't know the trains were taking the Jews to Auschwitz and Treblinka and all the rest. We didn't know. We didn't know. Of course, they did know. And they know what's going on right now, too. Christians are being murdered by the thousands, tens of thousands when you include Africa. Jews are now pre-1930s, the stench of the 1930s being targeted. Synagogues, kosher grocery stores. Meanwhile, our borders are wide open. And on our own college campuses. Yes, radical Muslims, Palestinians, threatening Jews there too. Who speaks for our country? Who represents our country? It's time to build up our military, and I'm afraid go overseas and destroy these bastards. Every damn one of them. I'll be right back.
Marc Levin.
Times of Israel, Denmark gunman openly hated Jews, says ex-classmate. Well, doesn't make him that different, does it? This one, Paris, Associated Press. Hundreds of graves have been vandalized at a Jewish cemetery in eastern France in what the French president called an odious and barbaric anti-Semitic act against French values. Still waiting to hear from Obama. Obama talking about Christians being beheaded. Christians being raped. 8-year-old girls. Haven't heard it. Jews being shot. Synagogues being attacked. Jewish headstones being desecrated. I haven't heard it. Meanwhile, 3 American Muslims slaughtered by a leftist. A leftist. It's a fact. It's not even a debate. And Obama puts out a statement 2 days later. Wants to know if it's a hate crime. Hey, genius, look around the world. Yeah, you, genius. I think they call you president. All kinds of hate crimes going on. Slaughter, genocide, mass murder, mass rape, little girls, prepubescent. Wake the hell up. You want to see hate crimes? They're right in front of your face. Get the hell off the golf course and do something. Not my president. No way. I'll be right back.
Marc Levin, Liberty's General Patton. Call into the Marc Levin Show now at 877-381-3811.
Our buddy Brian at Right Scoop, he posted Obama's statement. Actually, it's the press secretary's statement on the decapitation, the slaughter of 21 Egyptian Coptic Christians by the Islamo-Nazis. If this doesn't make your blood boil, what the hell's going to make your blood boil? If you didn't hear that 19-year-old girl, the Yazidi, going on about 8, 9, 10-year-olds being raped by 50-year-old pieces of you-know-what, then you're not human. Oh, the liberals, they're so damn human. Oh, yes, redistribute wealth. Take from those who earn it and give to those who haven't. Oh, they're so great. Free health care for everybody, but it doesn't work, ever. Here we have bloodthirsty maniacs on the loose. Well, I don't know. What are we going to do? Well, I don't know. They're not really killing Christians and Jews. No, we can't step out on that. Oh, we can't do that. Hey, I have an idea. What? Let's fight Netanyahu. Yeah, he's going to give a speech. How dare he violate protocols? The damn world's burning, and they're worried about Netanyahu. Because they worship Obama. And we've seen this sort of thing in history before. They worship Obama. They're Obama and Obama is them. The Democrat Party is a dead party. The Democrat Party has a totalitarian mindset. The Democrat Party rejects the Constitution. It rejects the Declaration. And for that reason, it is heartless and soulless. Because those of us who know both know that those documents exist. For what? To secure liberty against tyranny. Here's the statement by the press secretary on the beheadings of the 21 Egyptian Coptic Christians. These poor men. Innocent, haven't done a damn thing to anybody. Can't even defend themselves. They're handcuffed. They know they're going to their death. I mean, put yourself in their shoes. Think about this. They're being marched off. Cameras rolling like it's some kind of science fiction flick. The Islamo-Nazi subhumans with their knives at the ready. Oh, jeez. I can't stand it. I just can't stand it. Can you stand it? I can't stand what our country's become. Listen to this. Statement of the press secretary. That dim-witted Josh Not Ernest. The United States condemns the despicable and cowardly. You want to talk about cowardly? Obama's cowardly. So worried about his legacy. He's destroyed his legacy. History will expose him. Not the Praetorian Guard media today, but history. History will expose him as weak, feckless, incompetent ideologue who refused to stand up to evil. The United States condemns the despicable and cowardly murder of 21 Egyptian citizens. That's it, Egyptian citizens. They rewrite the facts. They rewrite events. Yes, they were Egyptian citizens. They were Christians. That just shows you how unserious these fools are. 21 Egyptian citizens in Libya by ISIL-affiliated terrorists. Well, they have a committee write this? Sounds like standard stuff that they have on their computer. They just push it out every time. We offer our condolences to the family. They don't want your condolences, you meathead. They want help. And our support to the Egyptian government, which this president has undermined every step of the way, and people as they grieve their fellow citizens. I'm tired of grieving fellow citizens. I'm tired of these pukish little videos and their social whatever they're doing. It's time to do them a favor. They want to go back to the 7th century? Send them back to the 7th century. In a blaze of dust. And they go on. ISIL's barbarity knows no bounds. This is so moronic and pathetic. It is unconstrained by faith, sector, ethnicity. Now we get the lecture. This wanton killing of innocents is just the most recent of the many vicious acts perpetrated by ISIL-affiliated terrorists against the people of the region, including the murders of dozens of Egyptian soldiers in the Sinai, which only further galvanizes the international community to unite against ISIL. What is this clown talking about? Let me tell you what's going to happen, ladies and gentlemen. There's going to be a point at which we, the American people, demand that our phony leaders, that these frauds who happen to get elected, do something. Do something. This heinous act once again underscores the urgent need for a political solution to the conflict in Libya. You believe this? You believe these scoundrels that are in the White House, these knowing, malicious liars, these frauds who are in the White House, a political solution in Libya? I call these Islamo-Nazis because that's exactly what they are. And I also notice other people starting to pick up on that. Good. It's a damn about time. Political solution. I just want you to project your memory back. And even if you didn't live during that period, many of us I didn't, but you know history. You've seen documentaries, you've read. Back to the The beginnings of the Third Reich. And this kind of chatter from a press secretary to a president, that we need a political solution in Germany. A political, so as they burn down the Bundestag. We need a political solution. Right. Political solution. Well, Hitler not only had a political solution, he had a final solution. Some things cannot be addressed politically. Sometimes it isn't the, Harvard Law Review, where you sit around and you pick your nose and you talk about stupid stuff. And then find the right footnotes to back up your stupid stuff. This isn't that. It's time for real men to stand up. We don't have any real men in the White House. Well, who do we have? Valerie Jarrett. She's the closest that comes to it, Mr. Producer. Obama's not a real man. Biden's not a real man. That's right, I said it, and I meant it. This chief of staff, you ever see a bigger dummy in your life all over TV? He's got his 5 bullets, and he just keeps spewing them out. Oh, but we're going to decimate, or we're going to... No matter what the question is, he gives the same answer. Perfect for Obama. Meanwhile, I want you to hear what the Canadian Prime Minister, Stephen Harper, said. One of my favorites, I told you, over at Right Scoop. Here's his statement. Not by his press secretary, but by the Prime Minister of Canada. I am outraged and saddened by the beheadings of Egyptian, Coptic, Orthodox Christians in Libya by groups linked to ISIL. Coming soon after the savage burning of Royal Jordanian Air Force pilot, the threat posed by ISIL could not be clearer. On behalf of all Canadians, I offer my deepest condolences to the families and friends of those killed and to the Coptic community here in Canada, which will feel the loss especially. How come he can say it? How come he can say it? I'm ashamed of our government, of this administration, of your president, not mine, of your phony Secretary of State, that blowhard, that big-mouth blowhard mashed potato face. And who, do we even have a Secretary of Defense anymore? I don't even know if we do. What, are we on our 12th or 15th? One loser after another? That's what they are. Marble mouths. The only time they get tough is when they get a book deal. Look at this, the New York Slimes. Having tried to cover up the Holocaust, let's see what they have here. Islamic State sprouting limbs beyond its base. Do tell. Who knew? How did this happen? The Islamic State is expanding beyond its base in Syria and Iraq to establish militant affiliates in Afghanistan, Algeria, Egypt, and Libya, American intelligence officials assert, raising the prospect of a new global war on terror. Hey, jerks at the New York Slimes, there is a new global war with terror. Don't you get it? And as I keep saying, it's getting bigger and bigger. They're consuming more and more geography. They're getting richer and richer, access to more and more arms, which means it'll be harder and harder to defeat them. More American lives, more American resources, as it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and metastasizes like cancer. Intelligence officials estimate that the group's fighters number 20,000 to 31,500 in Syria and Iraq. There are less formal pledges of support from probably at least a couple hundred extremists in countries like... Couple hundred. Is this a joke? And it goes on. Oh, it's unclear how effective they are. No, it's unclear how effective we are. They're winning. We keep going, I'm going to have we're going to have a declaration of war now, an authorization, Obama says. And here's how we're going to do this. I will not send in ground troops. This will come to an end in 3 years. We will have limitations. Who the hell issues a declaration of war like that? That's a declaration of surrender. Oh, here we have Ynet News. Egypt hits Islamic State in Libya and video showing mass murder of Coptics. So the president of Egypt is unleashing his air force against the enemy. The king of Jordan has unleashed his air force against the enemy. Ladies and gentlemen, we have not unleashed our air power. If we unleashed our air power, the planet would shake. The enemy would be wetting its pants. I think they do that anyway. I think they defecate in the same place they sit. Just by the looks of them. Best as I can tell. But I'm very serious about this. No, we don't send our bombers over there. Just pick one place and make an example of it. Go ahead and do it. And the Muslims who want to live freely and peacefully, they will cheer us. The Christians will cheer us. The Kurds will cheer us. The Jews will cheer us. The whole world will cheer us. And the rest of the world can go to hell anyway. I'll be right back.
Marc Levin.
Sorry, I get passionate about these things. Oh, he's yelling on radio. It's called passion. I don't do NPR. I don't ever want to do NPR. National Public Radio. Public Radio. And those of you who are listening to me, you don't want me to do it either. It's sterile. It's cold. Just like the president. And by the way, where is the First Lady? We haven't even seen her in weeks, have we, Mr. Producer? Something's going on there with those two. Something's going on. On Valentine's Day, you take separate vacations? Is that normal? I don't think it's normal. And he's always playing golf. Every vacation, he spends like 3 hours with his kids on a bike getting an ice cream. Oh, look at that. What a daddy. Hey, it's the truth. You know I'm speaking the truth. Yeah, just see, the cameras are out there. But all the girls now know he's at Palm Springs having a blast, 3 days, you know. Oh, the government shut down. Oh, holy mackerel. And the wife and the kids are on the slopes. Amazing, isn't it? If you're like many Americans, you know the Constitution is important. But do you really understand the rights and liberties it allows you to enjoy every single day? Hillsdale College has declared 2015 the year of the Constitution. And they teach it better than anyone else. In fact, every student, regardless of major, is required to master a course on the Constitution at Hillsdale. Now, this course is available to you online for free. And every one of you, I think, owes it to yourself, your friends, your family to understand the Constitution. After all, we can't have liberty. We can't have liberty without the Constitution. The course is Constitution 101, and it's provided free as part of Hillsdale's basic mission to defend liberty. Register for free today, and once you start the course, you'll receive a new lecture every week that you can watch whenever you want, along with readings and discussion boards and more. You can get into it really, really heavily or not at all. But I want you to try it. It's really remarkable. And it's absolutely free. Register for free today. Make 2015 your year to learn as much as you can about the Constitution. Sign up for Constitution 101 for free at levinforhillsdale.com. That's Levin for Hillsdale.com. levinforhillsdale.com. Many of us are snowed in. The rest of you who aren't, I know you're gut laughing, but many of us are snowed in. Now's the perfect time to do it. And after all, it's President's Day. Obama takes it literally. Oh, it's President's Day. I'm going to play golf because I'm president. That's not really what we have in mind. We meant Washington and Lincoln. But, you know, the politicians, they decided to change it to James Buchanan and John Tyler and Martin Van Buren. So here we are. Just another day off. Next hour, we're going to expand. We can still discuss this topic because this ain't going away. Do you know what the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms and Explosives is up to? Have you heard about this? Well, you're going to want to hear about this. Well, I don't believe in guns. Well, really? Do you believe in liberty? No, not really. I believe in redistribution of wealth. Okay, well, then I don't know why you're listening to me. There's 500 other stations for that. You're not going to believe what the AFT is up to. This isn't any conspiracy stuff. This isn't black helicopter stuff. They're telling us they're up to this. And I want you to hear it. And in addition to that, I have a proposal for the Senate Republicans. I have a proposal for the Senate Republicans to help them get out of this situation that they've boxed themselves into. Now, as you know, I try to come up with reform ideas, you know, being a constitutionalist and all. We've got Article 5 out there. We've got that jerk, the president of the Senate in Arizona, once again, Biggs or Briggs, won't bring it to a vote on the Senate floor. If you live in Arizona, you better pick up the phone and make some calls. We got some issues in Nebraska. We've got the John Birch Society and other knuckleheads running around, lying, fear-mongering, trying to derail this entire effort. And they may succeed if you don't step up. But this is something a little different. Something I want to propose. I actually proposed it in 2013. And I'm going to bring it up again for the Republicans in the Senate. I'm sure they'll all be ears. Lindsey Graham, oh, what's he have to say? Mitch McConnell, I'm going to bring us back to regular order. There is no regular order. It's regular disorder. There's chaos. There's calamity. When the Republicans are in the minority in the Senate, oh, we need the majority. We can't get anything done. They're in the majority. The Democrats are in the minority. Oh, we need 60 votes. We can't get anything done. Plus the president. I'm so sick of these people. It's not even funny. I'll be right back.
He's here. Now, broadcasting from the underground command post, deep in the bowels of a hidden bunker, somewhere under the brick and steel of a nondescript building, we've once again made contact with our leader, Marc Levin.
Hello, everybody. Marc Levin here. This is Hour 2. The number, 877-381-3811, 877-381-3811. I'm getting too old for all this snow. I really am. Wake up in the morning, oh, it's 7 degrees out. Meanwhile, the government keeps pushing the phony global warming. Oh, we said it's not global warming, it's climate change. Yeah, well, okay. Creepy, these leftists, just creepy. I notice on cable TV they keep telling us areas that are controlled by ISIS. How about areas that are controlled by Iran? Why don't they show both? Be like the good old days, just showing the areas where the old Soviet Union is either occupying other areas or controlling other areas and leaving out Mao's China. No, we want to see it all. That was the Red Scourge. Now we have the Islamo-Nazi Scourge. Or World War II. You know, the axis of evil. That'd be like just showing the areas that maybe Japan has conquered without showing Germany and Italy. Well, I think we should show it all. Yeah, they keep showing this photo of these men on their knees with their hands tied behind their backs in front of the ocean, you know, minutes away from having their throats cut and their heads removed. I can't take it. I just cannot. I cannot believe we're not doing something more about this. I can't believe it. I don't care who these people are who are being slaughtered. I don't care if they're Muslims or Christians or Jews. I care to the extent that there's an effort at ethnic cleansing and purification, of course. Of course, and Obama won't call them out for that. But when am I alone? I don't think so. Here at home, things are getting very scary too. From our friends at Breitbart.com, one of the great websites. You ready for this? A notice from the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, ATF, shows a notice from them shows the agency is considering a ban on the popular M855 AR-15 round, those of you with AR-15s and alike, by recategorizing the round as armor-piercing. Once categorized as armor-piercing, sales of the M855 rounds can be restricted or banned altogether under language in the Gun Control Act of 1968, the GCA, which describes marketable ammunition as that which is primarily intended to use for sporting purposes. Now, the ammunition guidelines set forth in the GCA are intended for handguns, but are also being applied to ammunition used in AR-15 rifles because AR-15 pistols fire the same ammunition. This is so outrageous. I have an idea. Let's change the category. Call it armor piercing, and then we can ban the bullets, and then ultimately ruin the guns. Ban them through the back door. Just by issuing a regulation. A notice. On Friday, the NRAILA, which is an outstanding organization, responded to ATF's pending ammunition ban, describing it as, quote, a move clearly intended by the Obama administration to repress the acquisition, ownership, and use of AR-15s and other .22-3 caliber general-purpose rifles. I've got an AR-15. It's not a particularly remarkable rifle. Do you know why I have an AR-15? So I can get these bullets. This caliber bullet. Because when there was a run on bullets, these bullets, as well as certain other types, were more available. The NRAILA made it clear that this is but a continuation of Obama's use of his executive authority to impose gun control restrictions and bypass Congress. And the liberals out there, like the clapping seals that they are clicking their goose-stepping as they walk. Yay, yay, any means whatsoever. Do it, do it. What about the Second Amendment? Oh, that doesn't say what you say it says. It says what I say it says. Right next to the abortion section. And one day they're going to wake up and they're going to say, what happened? And we'll say, what do you mean what happened? This is what you wanted. The iron-fisted police state. We don't have any guns. We don't have any bullets. Can we borrow some from you, your left-wing neighbor will say? And hopefully you'll say, no. No. I'm using those to protect my family and those of us who knew what was coming when you kept voting for these scoundrels. The ATF's notice makes clear the agency will be accepting comments for 30 days prior to finalizing its ban. ATF says those comments will be received until March 16, 2015, as if they're going to listen to them. Oh, we have this comment period. Wow, right. They're already twisting the law. Which brings me to another point. Of course, the only real way out, the only real recourse is for the state legislatures to act together and to control this government. But I want to suggest something that the Senate can do now that might be helpful. Not dispositive, but might be helpful. Mr. Producer, I want to play the cut from my show, and I don't normally do this, November 21, 2013, when I was reacting to Harry Reid, then the Senate Democrat Majority Leader, when he was talking about, or going nuclear, as they say, to end the filibustering of judicial nominees under the level of Supreme Court justices. A huge change for the United States Senate. And here's what I said, and I'm only playing it not to, oh, boy, was I smart. No, I'm set and playing it to underscore and to expand on it now. Cut 5, go. Let me help you out just a little bit. Here's what you should have said today. You go ahead and do this, Harry Reid and Schumer. You go ahead and do this, Dick Durbin and Harkin and all the rest of you miscreants and malcontents. You go ahead and do this. Let me tell you what we're going to do when we take back the Senate. If we take back the Senate. We're going to eliminate the filibuster rule altogether. And by a simple majority, we're going to repeal Obamacare. That's what we're going to do. There's no point in we, the Republican Party, there's no point in we, the Republicans in the Senate, following tradition, following Robert's Rules of Order. There's no point in us doing it when we're up against a force that doesn't abide by tradition, doesn't abide by rules, doesn't abide by the Constitution. Quite the contrary, seeks to destroy them all in their pursuit of absolute power. So we just want to make it clear today. What we're going to do is lift the filibuster rule, and we're going to repeal Obamacare. And because there is no filibuster rule in the House, they will vote with us. And then it'll go to the president, and he will veto it, and then it will come back to Congress. And we will either muster the votes to override his veto or we won't. But after that point, we're going to target every single Democrat, and we're going to defeat as many as we can to get to our veto-proof Senate and House. That was November 21, 2013. And I'm reminded of this because my dear friend, and he is a dear friend, going back to the Reagan administration, Hugh Hewitt, and a great radio host, he has a piece on his website today, The Need for Speed in a Budget Among the Congressional GOP and the Growing Case for Killing the Filibuster. So two like minds out of the same administration, the Reagan administration, are now saying, at least I'm saying, I believe he is too, kill the filibuster on legislation now. And in fact, what the Republicans in the Senate could say, we're going to kill it during the final years of the Obama administration, as the only way we know how, having surrendered the power of the purse and the power to impeach, they won't say that, but you get my point. The only way we know how to now pass legislation and get it on his desk, we can't compel him to sign it, but then we'll try and override his veto, and we will know exactly who we need to target in the next round, in the next election cycle. Because right now, 46 Democrats goose-stepping, lock-stepping their way, as they always do, in the minority in the Senate, are preventing the Republicans, who picked up 9 seats in the last cycle, because the American people have had enough. They're boxed in. They can't move. They surrendered the power of the purse in the Senate. They've surrendered every other tool they have. Well, if they give up the filibuster temporarily for the last 2 years of Obama, it's not in the Constitution, the filibuster. It's Robert's Rules of Order. And they can say, as Harry Reid did a year and a half ago, well, guess what? If the President of the United States is going to violate the Constitution brazenly and openly when it comes to an issue that is Congress's power, not just the power of the purse when it comes to immigration, but the power of naturalization, then we are going to step up. We are going to abandon the filibuster rule for the remaining part of his presidency, and we are going to pass legislation whether Chuck Schumer likes it or not, whether Harry Reid likes it or not, whether Barbara Boxer likes it or not, or any of those damn Democrats like it or not. It is time for Mitch McConnell and Lamar Alexander and John Cornyn to wake the hell up and break out of their little cocoons and understand what they're dealing with. I don't know what they mean by regular process and order when you have a president of the United States who's making laws, who's spending money without appropriation bills. Kill the filibuster in the Senate for the remaining part of his term. Well, Mark, if the Democrats take over, they'll do the same thing. This, ladies and gentlemen, is a joke. They did part of the same thing. But they're backing a president who's violating separation of powers. And separation of powers is the core issue, the core matter, the core element of our government that is supposed to prevent centralized tyranny. And if the Republicans did this, they wouldn't be violating the Constitution at all. There is no filibuster rule in the Constitution. They made the rules. And they can rescind them. And yes, of course, the Democrats might do this. The Democrats are gone. They don't care about the Constitution or tradition or processes. They're gone. Well, we have to stop this president at this time. Now, the question is whether these relatively ignorant Republican leaders in the Senate even comprehend what's going on. They're more than happy to go on the Sunday shows. They're more than happy to go on Fox. They're more than happy to go on some radio shows and go on and on. Oh, this guy's his conduct is unbelievable. He's violating the Constitution. He thinks he's a king. What are you going to do about it? Nothing. Whine like stuck pigs. Abandon the filibuster rule. And then we'll hear the fear-mongering from some of the pseudo-conservatives. Well, if we do that, they're going to do it to us. They did it to us, almost. But they didn't have to do it on legislation, because Obama's making legislation himself. He's using the executive branch and the massive bureaucracy to write federal laws through federal regulations without any statutory basis whatsoever. Oh, what are we going to do about that? Well, I don't know. Elect Jeb Bush. That'll fix it. Yeah, like the other Bushes. They fixed it. So I agree with my buddy Hugh, who wrote that piece today. I agreed with him a year and a half ago when I said what I said. And like Mines, you'll find, ladies and gentlemen, that most of the fight that's left among those of us who have served various presidents are those of us who served Reagan. Because we know Reagan wouldn't put up with this crap, and we know both Bushes did. I'll be right back.
Marc Levin.
You know, John McCain, a very, very brave hero in his day. There's no taking that away from the man. When John McCain went to war, he was defending our Constitution. And he did so bravely. And he suffered in ways none of us could possibly imagine. And what's truly sad about this man, he didn't even understand the Constitution he was defending with his life, with the torture. The poor guy has no comprehension what the Constitution is about. He himself, McCain Feingold, didn't give a damn about the First Amendment. Puts his life on the line. He's tortured to defend the Constitution in his country. And here is a politician. He has no comprehension what the law is. I'll give you an example. Hat tip, hot air, Chuck Todd on Meet the Depressed. Cut 4, go.
Where do you stand on this? Do you think using Homeland Security funding should be the way you protest the president's actions on immigration?
I think it would be terrible. I think we have to. The American people didn't give us a majority to have a fight between House and Senate Republicans. They want things done. We cannot.
So, ladies and gentlemen, you want things done. That's all. That's it. You voted to get things done. And when they say get things done, they mean whatever Obama wants to get done. Listen to this idiot Chuck Todd, too. Do you think using Homeland Security funding should be the way you protest the president's action on immigration? The House passed a bill to fund the Department of Homeland Security minus the funds for the Obama's unconstitutional actions. The Senate wants to vote on the same bill. A minority of Democrats is blocking it, 46 Democrats, doing Obama's dirty work. And this idiot Chuck Todd says, is this the way for the Republicans to act? In other words, they need to do step 2 behind Obama. After all, we like our cult-like president. And what does McCain say? Well, I think you're right. The people want us to get things done. We shouldn't be fighting with each other. Hero and moron at the same time. I'll be right back.
Levin, America's think tank. And you can call him at 877-381-3811.
John McCain gets way too much media attention. He's one senator. He's not in the leadership. He now heads the Armed Services Committee. Way too much attention. But they want him to get all this attention. Always remember that. These senators and congressmen who are endlessly on television, particularly in the lib media, they're the useful idiots. Lindsey Graham, useful idiot. So forth and so on. Because they say things like what McCain said. He didn't challenge this Chuck Todd, an old Democrat staffer, and say, wait a minute. We Republicans aren't fighting with each other. We're in complete agreement. The House passed a bill funding the Department of Homeland Security, except for Obama's unconstitutional acts. And I have a duty as a senator. I swore to uphold the Constitution. President doesn't get to make laws. He doesn't get to violate Article 1. He doesn't get to violate separation of powers. He can't do these things on his own. And you would think the senator from Arizona would be more outspoken in defense of the Constitution when it comes to immigration and so forth than anybody else. But, of course, he's not, because he's a useful idiot. So, of course, he doesn't challenge Chuck Todd's premise, which is absurd. The people who are blocking the vote in the Senate are the Democrats, and I just told the Republicans how to take care of business. But they like to whine like stuck pigs instead. Oh, we're keeping things proper. Yes. Marcus at Queensberry's rules. There they are in the UFC in the octagon, ready to get their teeth kicked in, and they got 16-ounce boxing gloves on. Whoa, what are we going to do? We're not changing the rules here. No. Problem is, nobody represents us when they act that way. And here's another one, Chris Wallace. Look how he sets this up. This is why nobody watches these Sunday shows anymore. I don't. Poor Mr. Producer has to go back and pull things up from them, but I can't stand them. You know what, Mr. Producer? I should do a Sunday show. Don't you think I could do a Sunday show? Yeah, I would. I should do a Sunday show on TV. It would be, really intelligent, cerebral, and so forth, but also interesting and entertaining, where I would have guests on who don't always agree with me, of course, but we could really get to the bottom of these issues. I think we'd actually get some numbers, unlike these other Sunday shows. John Boehner on Fox News Sunday, talking about this. Listen to Chris Wallace, how Chris Wallace sets this up. Cut 3, go.
The deadline is less than 2 weeks from now. And the fact is that you and Congress are going to be out on recess for the next week. Can you promise the American people, with the terror threat only growing, that you're not going to allow funding for the Department of Homeland Security to run out?
Stop. The House voted. The House did exactly the right thing. It goes to the Senate. Obama tells his flunkies in the Senate, all the Democrats and all the flunkies go along. That's why they're flunkies. Don't agree to anything. Don't agree to anything. Just threaten the filibuster. Don't agree to amend it. Don't entertain any negotiations. No discussion whatsoever. Just kill it. Use our minority status to kill it because they need 60 votes on a procedural vote if they're going to comply with the filibuster. So this apparently is confounding to Chris. Well, what are you Republicans up to now? Oh, you Republicans. Can you promise the American people we won't be attacked by terrorists with your antics there in the Senate? Now, of course, Obama has the door wide open to the enemy. Wide open. He's defunding the United States military. He's using his perverse social engineering throughout our national security apparatus. And he's conducted himself irresponsibly, violating the Constitution. And now the Democrats won't even allow the Republicans a vote in the Senate on a bill that passed the House because of the filibuster rule. They won't even allow the vote. And Chris Wallace, he's cutting edge, up to snuff, boy. I'll tell you, this guy doesn't miss a thing. You Republicans going to allow the no funding for the Department of Homeland Security? Can you promise us we won't be attacked by terrorists like a good Democrat? And, of course, there's another point, Chris. And I've talked about this many times, and you've got a lot of researchers over there at Fox. Why don't you ask one of them? The overwhelming percentage of federal employees at the Department of Homeland Security are considered essential by the government, and they'd have to work. They'd get paid later. Well, we can't say that. That destroys the narrative. Oh, no, we can't get... Oh, that'll destroy the narrative. See, when the actual facts come out, we know you liberals love facts. Whether you're in the media or outside the media. Oh, we only follow the facts where they take us. Oh, we're into science and knowledge and global warming. But when you follow the facts tell you that this is a complete setup by Obama and the Democrats, and they don't give a crap what the consequences are. They never do. Most presidents, they're concerned. I can't do this. I care about the country. I care about our security. Not this guy. Ooh, what's today? Saturday? I'm going off to Palm Springs. 3-day weekend. It is President's Day after all. Let's continue. Shall we? Cut 3. Go.
The House has acted. We've done our job. Senate Democrats are the ones putting us in this precarious position. And it's up to Senate Democrats to get their act together.
But all I can ask, I'll ask it
Chris.
Stop. I'll ask it again. Oh, I'll keep asking it till the public thinks I'm right. I'll just ask again. He got his answer. He didn't like it. So Boehner's back. Go.
One more time. The House has done its job under the Constitution. It's time for the Senate to do their job. Listen, I've got a tough job here. So does Senator McConnell. But Senate Democrats are the ones standing in the way. They're the ones jeopardizing funding. Why don't they get on the bill and offer an amendment, offer their ideas? Let's see what the Senate can do.
And what if the Department of Homeland Security funding runs out?
Well, then stop. He blew off Boehner's answer. Didn't even listen to it. And what if they run out of money? And then what are you going to do? Then we're going to get hit. What are you going to do? Just ignored the whole thing. Didn't pursue any of it. Say, no, what do you mean by that? My audience would like to know, what are the Senate Democrats doing that the Republicans in the Senate can't seem to overcome? None of that. And what are you going to do if there's no funding? In other words, you either do what Obama says, constitutional or otherwise, or it's in your face. You believe this? All week long, last week, this week, the week, the protocol with Netanyahu, the protocol. We have a constitution. It's being violated every day by this jerk in the White House, and these jerks in the media don't seem to give a damn. How about a Sunday show on that, Chris? Nah, I can't have that. A little too complicated. Go ahead.
Democrats should be to blame. Very simply.
And you're prepared to let that happen?
Certainly. The House is active. We've done our job.
Hold on. Prepared to let what happen, Chris? He doesn't control the Democrats in the Senate. Yellow, knucklehead. That's a question for Harry Reid, but Harry Reid is not available. Had an exercise accident, broke ribs, broke his eye socket, pulling big rubber bands, he said. I don't believe so. I don't know. My surmise is, a trip down the steps with a bottle of vodka in your hand. That'll do that every time. Right, Harry? You like the truth, don't you, Harry? You like to smear people, don't you, Harry? This is why you'll never get facts from shows like this. There's a narrative that's nothing but a lie that turns into a myth. It's preposterous. Now, these guys have been around Washington forever. It's not like they don't know what's going on or how it works. So why would he perpetuate this lie? Wallace. Well, that's a rhetorical question. I gave them the fix. I hope they'll listen during the rest of the term of this president, who they admit is violating the Constitution, who they admit is an imperial president, who they admit is usurping their powers, as they struggle to bring a lawsuit against him and complain about not having the votes. Well, I'm going to tell them how to get the votes. drop the filibuster rule on legislation for the remaining days in the last term of this president and explain in exquisite detail why you're doing it. That you're not doing it to create a pattern of dropping the filibuster, that you're doing it to defend the Constitution and the authority of Congress under Article 1, to defend separation of powers, and to prevent the president from implementing to the best of your abilities as a legislative branch his unconstitutional actions, which are based on nefarious motives. And if he chooses to veto the bill, then that's what he does. But every single Democrat who votes against you, and every single Democrat who refuses to vote to override the veto, needs to be taken down. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let us hope the people in radio tomorrow pick this up. I know they won't mention Marc Levin. I don't care about that. But let's hope they pick up the idea and they make the case. And if you hear any one of them say, well, then the Democrats might do that, then you know they're morons. Because the Democrats can do it anyway, and the Democrats did do it when it came to federal judges. And more than that, their president is acting like a despot. The filibuster rule is a Senate rule. It's not in the Constitution. And so you're going to have the stodgy, that's not our tradition, regular order. Regular order as Rome burns. Regular order as the president conducts himself in increasingly brazen and despotic ways. Regular order? There is no regular order. You clowns have surrendered the rest of the Constitution. Now I'm telling you to surrender the rule. That is not part of the Constitution. Sadly, ladies and gentlemen, there are a number of Republicans, and I would count John McCain among them, the goofball from Maine. What the hell is it? Susan Collins, there's others, who don't really care that the president is violating the law and doing what he's doing, because in the end they agree with most of what he's doing. John McCain is a big government corporatist. Susan Collins is a progressive Republican, a big-time liberal. She'd be perfectly comfortable as a Democrat. And there's others who are frauds and phonies. This is why the Republicans have trouble organizing as a group, but the Democrats don't. Particularly in the Senate. This is why the Republicans have a problem. And then you've got Mitch McConnell, who's one of the weakest speakers to the American people, one of the weakest strategists there could be as a Republican leader. Now, behind the scenes, he's brutal with the individual Republican members. This I know is a fact. He threatens them and so forth and so on. Same with Boehner. You either follow what I say, or you'll lose your subcommittee chair. And McConnell and his boys over at the National Republican Senatorial Committee, they'll just flat out try and smear these senators and leak to their favorite outlet, the left-wing radical Politico.com, or the New York Slimes or the Washington Compost. This is how they do their little hit jobs as they move from McConnell staffers into the bureaucracy or into the lobbying outfits and then back as McConnell staffers. So there are some answers, rational responses that are legitimate, that are civil, that are smart. And so I doubt the Republicans will do it. I'll be right back.
Marc Levin.
So during the break, I'm watching the weather report. And in the particular area that I live in is supposed to get the hardest hit in Virginia. Now 1 foot of snow. Now the people around here are good people, but they don't know what the hell they're doing in 1 foot of snow. This isn't Boston. I don't know what the hell I'm doing in 1 foot of snow. I don't even know what the hell I'm doing here during the winter. But here I am. Oh, I love the snow, people say. Yeah, well, you must not have to shovel it out. Because I have to, unless I can find some kid who's industrious out there. I'm going to have to wave a big bill in front of them, too, Mr. Producer. I'll be on the prowl. I'll look. But, no, I don't ski. And you think of Michelle Obama? No, I don't ski. I've never skied. No, so I view it as a huge nuisance. People want to know why, our fellow citizens move to places like Arizona and Florida. Duh, I think I know. Particularly in the wintertime. Oh, they're snowbirds. Damn right. And I love when people say that, ex-New Yorkers, Mr. Badu. Oh, there's a snowbird. They're a snowbird. In fact, the liberals are more than snowbirds. They're like locusts, as I say over and over again. They move into these states. Here's what they do. They destroy their own state by voting liberals in, who massively increase taxes. But many of them benefit from it. Maybe they're on the public payroll or whatever. Then they move into a nice, bright, ruby red state. And they keep up their same voting patterns. This is what's happening to my beloved Virginia. Like liberal Democrats in Maryland. Hey, we screwed our state. Let's go to Virginia. Or the District of Columbia. Or whatever. Hey, let's go there. Yeah. Who's the Democrat? Oh, Democrat, vote Democrat. Oh, we could always go somewhere else. As I've said on this program before, wouldn't it be really cool if we could set up a country, just call it, what? United Liberals of America, or whatever they want to call themselves. LGBT, whatever. Just take these 8 states, whatever. And we get our states. And then they can do everything they like to do. Right? Coddle prisoners. Let all kinds of people come into their country from overseas. Redistribute wealth. Impose confiscatory taxes. Activist judges. Absolute anarchy. Let them have it. We'll just build a really big fence around their country. We'll do it on our dime so it doesn't bleed into our country. But I can just see it now. Be perfect. Everybody's unionized. Everybody receives the health care. Everybody receives a pension. Actually, Mr. Producer, we wouldn't have to do that. You know what it's called? It's called North Korea. Well, there's paradise for you. Oh, yeah. They don't have a lot of global warming in North Korea. Excuse me, climate change in North Korea, do they? There are no lights to turn on. They don't have a methane problem with their cows either. There aren't any cows. Ooh. No school lunch program. There's no school lunch. There's no redistribution of wealth. There's no wealth. That's perfect. Oh, there's utopia right there. Yes, it's terrific, isn't it? Well, isn't that ultimately, maybe not that exactly, but something like that, isn't that ultimately where all of this leads? There doesn't seem to be any end to this. Torment, taxes, regulations, spending, federal police powers, the violation of the Constitution and limits placed on politicians and the bureaucracy. Well, where the hell do you think this is going? It's not going to a very pleasant place. I said, several hundred years from now, maybe 500 years from now, when historians write about this, they are going to have a hell of a lot to condemn us for. Greatest country on the face of the earth. What the hell did we do? I'll be right back.
He's here. Now, broadcasting from the underground command post, deep in the bowels of a hidden bunker, somewhere under the brick and steel of a nondescript building, we've once again made contact with our leader, Marc Levin.
Hello, everybody. Marc Levin here. This is Hour 3. Our number, 877-381-3811. 877-381-3811. By the way, as a side point, it's very interesting. I think I've been talking some time now about the fact that the Republicans aren't connecting with blue-collar workers. Reagan Democrats, we used to call them. I think I've been talking about that constantly, haven't I, Mr. Producer? Rick Santorum also wrote an excellent book on this subject. He came out of Pennsylvania, a tough blue-collar state. And apparently somebody else has written about it. Absolute genius! Yes. The problem is that these highbrow Republicans or what have you who copycat liberals or who represent millionaire and billionaire corporatists, they can't win. Because there are a lot of people out there who embrace conservatism who are Democrats. They're not part of this radical wacko stuff. They want the border secured. They believe in a strong military. They're people of faith. Many of them are ethnic folks, or historically their ancestors are. They don't believe in redistribution of wealth as a economic policy. They don't believe all cops are bad. These are the Reagan Democrats. And Romney couldn't appeal to them, and McCain couldn't appeal to them. Bush barely appealed to them, which is why in 2000 he lost the popular vote. And we have to connect with these people, not with phony white papers, oh, the reformicons, no. With our principles, right into the teeth of our principles. These are not people who love big, out-of-control, centralized government. They're truck drivers and assembly line workers. They're farmers and ranchers. They work in commercial fisheries. They work on pipelines and so forth and so on. These are our people. The environmental leftists in the penthouse offices of air-conditioned glass office buildings in San Francisco and Manhattan, they have nothing in common with those people, and yet those are the people who direct the Democrat Party. You know, the fact of the matter is, ladies and gentlemen, we should be wiping the floor with the elected Democrats and their party. They are completely out of touch with reality. They're out of touch with their base. I'm not talking about professors and the people who rally around race and ethnicity and so forth. I'm talking about all these people who work and want to work and have difficulty as a result of illegal immigration, have difficulty as a result of EPA action, shutting down coal mines, shutting down public utilities, and so forth and so on. We can explain things to these people, and these people are looking for leadership. They're your neighbors. They're your family members. In many cases, they're your coworkers. And I've talked about this over and over and over again. Our principles are the only principles, when explained intelligently and applied to current circumstances, that can appeal to these folks, as Obama would say. I just finished saying that, I'm going to look in my neighborhood for some aspiring entrepreneur to help shovel my driveway. A foot of snow is a lot of snow. And when you have a heart condition, you're really not allowed to do it. So mom and dad, don't worry, relax. But I'm saying I'm going to need some help. And that's a good thing. It's not only good for me, it's good for them. Hard work, you earn a little cash. And yet, apparently, in some places, this is another problem. This from Fox News. New Jersey teens blocked from shoveling snow without a permit. Without a permit. When a major snowstorm hit the East Coast 2 weeks ago, 2 entrepreneurial teens in New Jersey were ready. So they ran directly into a real force of nature, government nannies. Matt Molinari and Eric Sneft, both 18 years old from Bound Brook, New Jersey, were going door to door in their neighborhood on January 27, handing out homemade flyers that offered snow shoveling services. School had already been canceled for the next day when a winter storm was expected to bury their portion of the Garden State under several inches of cold white powder. But their offer of a free exchange of services for cash caught the attention of the local police force. And according to local news reports, the cops told the kids they weren't allowed to solicit business by going door to door without a permit from the local government. This is why I've reached the point where I'm a rebel, where I am a malcontent, where I can't stand government at any level. I mean, it's too much already. We weren't looking to break the law. We just didn't know the law, Molinari told CBS New York. Police Chief Michael Giannone told MyCentralNewJersey.com that the two teams were not arrested or issued a ticket. Oh, thank you, officer. Thank you, police chief. But were stopped because the town was in a so-called state of emergency in advance of the coming storm. Well, why wouldn't you want kids, these aren't even kids, what are they, 18-year-olds, going door to door and helping people dig out? Oh, I get it now, Mr. Producer. We need the ongoing emergency. We need to hire more government people. Can't let kids go out there and help. See, this is how the culture is being destroyed. It's being devoured by government at all levels. It's being devoured. And so now you have obstacles. In some towns, in some states, if you want to sell lemonade, which is another good entrepreneurial thing every kid should go through, or if you want to shovel snow. I mean, I can remember, all of us can remember, can't we? I was about that age, 18 years old, and we would have my parents take us over to my grandmother Rose, in northeast Philadelphia. She lived on Strail Street, right off of Roosevelt Boulevard for you in Philly. And we would stay overnight. And the reason we'd stay overnight is because she lived in a duplex, and there were rows and rows of duplexes, unlike where we lived. And so we knew we were going to make big bucks the next day. And so we stayed overnight, and we shoveled and we shoveled and we shoveled, maybe 8, 9, 10 hours a day. And we made good money. Back then, I don't even know what it was. It was $5 or $10 to shovel. Maybe we made $50, $70 each. That was a lot of money. And I actually don't think we were 18. I think we were like 13 and 14. And a lot of elderly people lived there, and they were glad to have us, and we were glad to make the money. We didn't rip them off. We worked very, very hard. We were exhausted. Isn't that what we want to teach people? Young people? No, can't do that. You don't have a permit. What do I need a permit for? Permit? Permit to shovel the damn snow off somebody's sidewalk and steps? A permit? Who is this guy, chief, whatever? Let's get this guy, this police chief, Michael Giannone. Let's see if he'll come on the show. The hell is he talking about? And not only that, we already know from the president, don't we? Hey, prosecutorial discretion. So, you 12 million illegal aliens, come on in. But if you're going to shovel snow and you're an American citizen and you're 18 years old, now that's where we're sticking to the permits. No prosecutorial discretion there. Can't have that. And who the hell is on these boards over there? What do they call them? Freeholders in New Jersey? Yes, in Bound Brook, New Jersey. What the hell is this? Oh, we can't have clean sidewalks and driveways and stairs for our folks, even if they want to pay for it. It's not like they're selling drugs. Where can we go? Where can we go? They say New Zealand's nice, but it's really, I mean, it's another little socialist island. Where the hell can we go? Honestly, I don't know. Utah? Is that the last haven in the United States? Utah? I don't know. Idaho? Where do you go? I'm not into nature. I have to be honest with you. I love looking at it. I don't want to be in it. I love being inside, looking outside. When it's hot outside, I want my air conditioning. When it's cold, I want my heat. I can enjoy nature. We have what's called windows, and I'll look outside the window. I watch these shows. They fascinate me, you know, like in Alaska. Many shows now. One takes off, so they do 14 of them. There's a guy skinning a squirrel and heating it up and eating it. Oh, this is good. Nah, I don't know about that. By the way, Mr. Producer, as I'm rambling, I like the show on ginseng. You ever see these guys, these mountain guys on ginseng? It's scary stuff. In Appalachia, well, people got to make a living, and and they want to take care of their families, but they do all kinds. It's a fascinating show. All right. By the way, if you're a young person and you want to shovel snow, go ahead and do it. Go ahead and do it. They want to prosecute you. Let's see how far they get away with that. By the way, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, is he now the official world spokesman for Islam? Why is he on every show? Making excuses. All right, I'll be right back.
Marc Levin.
Conservative Review, February 27th, that's a big date for conservatives. As you may have heard, it's the date that funding expires for the Department of Homeland Security, as we've discussed. It's also how Republican leadership has claimed they'll fight to stop Obama's executive amnesty. Conservative Review is waiting to make sure that they do just that. Almost all Republicans claim to be against executive amnesty, but now's the time where politicians will try to bait and switch the public to avoid showing what they truly support. They'll take votes that will have no impact whatsoever on the eventual outcome, and when push comes to shove, they won't stand up for the crucial vote that truly matters. Then they'll claim that they did the best they could. This is why sites like conservativereview.com are so important. They'll tell you what your politician voted for in plain English. And they'll tell you that vote, how it'll affect you as well. ConservativeReview.com is the place to go for the most up-to-date information on this immigration battle exactly when you want it. Just take a couple minutes. I mean, it is President's Day, Take 2 minutes, sign up at ConservativeReview.com, ConservativeReview.com. You can sign up right now. I strongly encourage you to do it. And I've given the Republicans an answer. An answer for getting this bill out of the Senate and on Obama's desk. And what he does with it, he does with it. Obama obviously is not going to sign a bill that challenges his unconstitutional conduct. But the legislature should do what the legislature can do and put it on his damn desk. And then fight like hell to override the veto and let the Democrats know they vote against overriding the veto, that they will be targets in the next election. At least get on the playing field and fight. Doesn't mean you're going to win every time. Doesn't mean the military operations always win. Doesn't mean you always win in various sporting games and so forth. But do it! Don't surrender in advance. Stop talking about regular order when we have nothing but disorder and unconstitutional behavior. Henry, New York City, the great WABC, a liberal Democrat, go.
Okay, Mark, we're in New York City, and we're waiting for the Norman Controller to give us instructions on the upcoming snowstorm. And I know this phone call will result...
Well, you're not a liberal Democrat.
Yes, I am a liberal moderate Democrat.
Well, you're waiting for the mayor, DeCamio, to give you directions?
Instructions, rather, on the upcoming...
If you're a liberal, don't you like him?
Well, I think he goes overboard.
Did you vote for him? Yes or no?
Well, I'd rather not say because...
Yes or no, sir?
I voted for him because I'm a liberal, not moderate Democrat, not liberal all the way.
Excuse me.
Yes.
If you voted for DeCamio, you're a liberal. I certify you a liberal. Now go ahead.
Okay. And the problem is with the Republicans, you got Mitch McConnell, to me, looks like Pee Wee Herman.
All right, what do you want? Nobody criticizes these guys more than I, and now all the hosts feel they can do it.
Well, Mark, America is headed for a demographic winter. Every enemy of America has their people inside.
What do you mean headed for it? The door's wide open.
Right. Every enemy of America has their people inside of America. But if we're going to talk about Bill Clinton's girlfriends in the next presidential campaign...
I didn't talk about Bill Clinton's girlfriends.
You, but it does become a big subject of time.
Although I might, you never know.
But, Mark, in the 2012 campaign...
Now, if he had boyfriends, that would be a story, don't you think?
Right. That might be the next...
Not that anything's wrong with that, Henry.
That might be the next chapter in his book when it comes out.
You never know.
But
boys will be boys and boys will do boys? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I don't listen.
Watch yourself, Henry. Go right ahead.
Yeah, well, the women actually picked Bill Clinton up, so you can't blame them.
Oh, it's the women's fault. Like a good lib.
Yeah, they throw themselves at the guy.
Oh, they throw themselves. He never dropped his pants and said, kiss it, did he?
In Arkansas, the secretaries were told, if you ever drop a paperclip, don't bend down to pick it up.
Oh, well, okay, well, fine. That doesn't mean they're throwing themselves at him. It means he's dropping his pants at them.
The crack of dawn wasn't safe when he was governor of Arkansas. But
Okay.
anyway, getting back to more serious stuff that really the country wants to be engaged in. I mean, if we just sit back, moderate, liberal, Democrats, you hit it before, you were right. This country is way past Republicans and Democrats. We were in big trouble inside this country. And, you know, I'm all over New York City. I'm out in the island. After that big storm a couple of years ago, I seen guys helping people out, Mark, with their homes, right? These guys are out of work, construction workers, helping people put their homes out. I didn't see any fat cat Wall Street guys out there helping people out. So to me, I mean, if we don't get together and really nail the big issues of the day, this country is finished. And you should buy a Bobcat, Mark, to get the snow out of your driveway.
Yeah, maybe, you know what, you're right. I should buy one of those little things. They'd be fun, too.
And you'll become real popular with your neighbors with that, too.
That's the problem. Then it's going to, hey, Mark, over here. Hey, Mark, over here. No, you know, I don't want to do that.
When it rains in the wintertime, always remember that's holy water.
All right, brother, thank you. You're a font of knowledge. So if it rains in the wintertime, it's holy water. What happens when it snows?
When it snows, you better get those kids. What are those
That's
kids?
dandruff.
But the kids don't want to shovel the snow no more. In New York,
No, there are kids who do want to shovel, but the town's telling them they can't. Henry, great call. You're a good man no matter what they say. I'll be right back.
Making sure the land of the free and the home of the brave stays that way. Dial Marc Levin now at 877-381-3811.
Keith Ellison. Complete schmuck, may I say. Not because of his religion. I don't care what his religion is. He's the one who wears it on his sleeve. He's a Muslim. He's just a complete schmuck. Typical lib. And he's confused. Here he is, hat tip, CNS News, another great site. CNS News, cut 7, go.
Now, I also think we need to make voting easier. It should be easier. In other countries, it's easier. Why should voting be so difficult? Tuesday? Who thought that up?
Stop. Who thought up Tuesday? This guy swears an oath to the Constitution, Mr. Producer? Who thought that up? Go ahead.
I mean, the fact is that there's wide variation in when people can vote. You can't necessarily register to vote on Election Day. I've often asked myself why you should have to register to vote.
Oh, good point. Why should you register to vote? I don't know. Why should you file your income taxes? Why should you sign up for Obamacare? This guy, he's a fool, absolute fool, but he gets to vote all the time on laws that affect your life. You know, for much of the country, the weather's pretty brutal. And I have a dear friend, Joe Bastardi, who sends me emails and tells me what to expect in my community. And now I can expect a foot of snow. And I asked Joe to come on because the whole country, or much of the country, is being hammered with different types of weather and so forth. We call it winter. The liberals call it climate change, global warming, and global cooling. Joe Bastardi, how are you, my brother?
Pretty good. I'm glad to be on with you, Mark. 6 to 10 is the most likely there. The problem with a storm like this, Mark, and this goes for everybody in the storm area, especially up around D.C. where it's really, really cold, is the snowflake size, believe it or not, will vary across an area. You know, when you get a thunderstorm, for instance, it may rain hard in one place, not so hard in another place, but you don't really notice the difference. With snow, you see the variation where you drive 5 miles down the street. Say, how come there's more snow here than in my neighborhood or something like that. So in this case, folks, it's a widespread storm and there's variance in the accumulation. That's why meteorologists will use the range that we do. And I'm at home with a range of 6 to 10 in your backyard, Mark. How's that?
Where are you located right now?
I am in downtown, actually, East Boalsburg, Pennsylvania, 7 miles due east of the great Pennsylvania State University, where I hold a degree in meteorology.
All right, now I want everybody to know, not only do you hold a degree in meteorology, you're a damn big-time wrestler.
Well, I wrestled at Penn State, but I was 1-4. But I'm involved with the senior members of the Nittany Lion Wrestling Club, the guys that are in USA Wrestling, and of course the coach of the team and the Nittany Lion Wrestling Club is gold medalist Cale Sanderson, and Jake Barner's a gold medalist, and
wow,
all these guys are, they're pretty tough guys. I'll tell you that right now.
Now I know who they are. You're talking Jake Barner at UFC.
We're trying to get you to come up here and watch a match.
Maybe I've got so much to do, but I definitely want to do it, Joe. I really do. Now, let me ask you this. What's going on the West Coast? We're all focused on the East Coast, and for good reason. What are they getting sunburn over there?
Well, no, what happens is whenever you see all this cold air that comes into the East, it's perfectly natural for the West to be very warm and on the dry side, and this happens over and over and over again. So, in general, when the East gets cold and snowy, and this is also the plains are getting into the situation now. The western part of the United States is in pretty good shape as far as the overall weather pattern goes here next week to 10 days. It's absolutely punishing, though, in the Northeast. Mark, this is going to be the coldest February since at least 1934 in New York and New England. Maybe
I was going to say that. It's damn cold.
Yeah, we're looking at history in the Northeast part of the United States, especially. And the combination of cold and snow in Boston will make it the worst winter month on record there. And so you can see how the weather varies back and forth, and it's all part of the natural swing that's going on. With this storm tonight, we've got a streak of freezing rain and sleet in the Carolinas. It's now pulling out of Tennessee Valley, and this is going to make a miserable night in the Piedmont of the Carolinas. Further north, once you get to the North Carolina-Virginia border, it's all snow into southern Pennsylvania. And these areas, D.C., Philadelphia, Atlantic City, really haven't been hit yet this year, so this is going to be the biggest storm of the year. And we have another couple of weeks of this to go where it's relentless pounding of cold and the threats of snow in much of the United States from the plains eastward.
What's going on in areas like Chicago and Detroit and so forth?
Well, Chicago is going to have their coldest weather of the winter season coming up over the next couple of days. Not much going on right now, but a new Arctic front is going to come through Chicago later tomorrow night, Wednesday morning, and they're probably going to be pretty close to 10 below Wednesday morning, Thursday morning in there, and then they're going to have to deal with some snow in the weekend and another major blast of Arctic air in the Sunday, Wednesday period of next week. So the core of the worst cold this winter has been in the northeastern part of the United States, and it is trying to spread back west here in the end game. But it's a heck of an end game. We have, what I do is I look at past weather patterns, and it's very similar to 1958, 78, 1969. And all these winters really, really had a nasty February, and it lasted into March. So, if you see something that happened before, it's no different than history, folks. In the weather, if you see something that's happened before, you see the similarities, chances are something like that is going to happen again, and that's what's basically going on now.
What about the Southwest? How's the weather there?
The Southwest is in very good shape, and they will be in good shape here over the next week or so. I look for them to cool down, though, next week, and there's probably going to be some pretty good snows in the southwestern mountains. Speaking of snow, Denver is going to be getting involved with some snow. And, the interesting thing about the Denver area, Mark, is in seasons like this, it loves to snow at the beginning of the year, at the beginning of the winter, and then toward the end of the winter is when Denver sees a lot of its snow, and I think that's going to hold true again this year. They get off to a real fast start. They've sort of been milling around, but now the snow is going to be coming more frequently over the next couple of weeks.
The Deep South, any major events there?
The Deep South, frigid air is going to invade yet again. I mean, we've had the ice storm from northern Alabama into Tennessee back into Arkansas with this. But there is going to be the coldest air mass of the winter coming later this week, and this may send temperatures of freezing all the way down into the Florida citrus groves Thursday night. So that's something we are concerned about. Certainly the areas from Atlanta back to Shreveport and Dallas in for their lowest temperatures of the winter season. And then there's actually a possibility that over the weekend we see frozen precipitation even down to the I-20 corridor. So the big South is going to be, the deep South is going to be sharing. And in fact, what I call the middle South, that area in the I-40 corridor is really getting blasted already during today, and it's into the Carolinas tonight.
Let me ask you one more. Hey, by the way, it's fun doing this with you. You really know this stuff. How about the Pacific?
Hey, listen, brother, I listened to you enough. If you want me on, I was just telling you want to review the weather.
Well, you're on with Hannity all the time. What am I supposed to do? He'll get mad at me. All right, let me ask you this. The Pacific Northwest. What do you say?
Well, Pacific Northwest is still in pretty good shape here over the next several days, but they are also going to start cooling down. As a matter of fact, I think they're in for a pretty rough stretch of weather relative to normals in 10 to 20 days down the road. It looks like a lot of this could start backing into there too. What we're seeing is the core is like the Emperor of the North has been sitting over New England here over the last 2 weeks, and now he's expanding back west and southward. So I think we're going to start seeing that getting involved in the Pacific Northwest, not for another week or so, but then there's probably going to be a pretty big reversal down the road, the end of February and on into the early part of March in there.
You know, basically, there's a common thread here as I listen to you. Much of the country is having, if not the coldest temperatures in recent times, the coldest temperatures in record times. Am I right about that?
Well, the coldest temperatures of this winter, certainly, but, okay, you take Erie, Pennsylvania. They had their coldest all-time reading this morning at 18 below zero.
Wow.
And what's amazing about that is it occurred on February 16th. But you see winter do this a lot of times. I want to put it in perspective. No one loves extreme weather more than me. Now, that may sound bad because, people get inconvenienced and bad things happen, but the study of what the atmosphere does reveals the majesty of the creation right in front of me. And when you go back and look at all the things that happened, for instance, February 1958, February 1934, I throw these numbers around, people go, yeah. But when you go back and study that, my father's a meteorologist, and he really drilled it into me from the get-go to look at what happened before. I mean, he had me going back all the way to the time of Rome, back in the book, The Agony and the Ecstasy, reminded me there was snow. No, seriously, there was snow.
I think it's great.
There was snowstorms in Rome back during that time. But anyway, the fact is, when you go back and look at this...
Wait a minute. Did they have cars? We had global warming and snow?
No, I think it was because of all the horses. I've done...
Oh, there you go. The methane.
Yeah. I've always wondered how Hannibal, when he came in, how he got those elephants over the Alps. You ever think about that? And it's because
Not a lot.
It was quite warm. No, but the way.
But that's a good point.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. That's what I do. And so when I hear some of the things I hear, I know the person is either talking out of ignorance of the fact, or it's just the way things, like Ann Coulter said, history began 10 minutes ago for a lot of people. If they haven't seen it, then it couldn't have happened. And it's really an interesting situation because I look at it the opposite way. The more you know about what happened in the past, the more you understand what's going on today in the weather and everything else.
Mm-hmm. Excellent, Joe. Thank you. So I'm in for a bit of snow here, which I hate. Just thought I'd say. But then again, I live here, right?
Right. It's that powder.
Oh, here's what I wanted to ask you. It's a little parochial, but where I live, without announcing my address and everything, where I live, aren't I on like this wind stream? It can move a little south, a little north, and that has a lot of effect on the weather, it seems, around here.
It's interesting in trying to forecast the weather in your particular area because of the fact that you have the big mountains to the west of you, and a lot of times things will try to jump over that area in different situations. In other words, you'll see it coming at you, and then it redevelops off to the north and east. On the other hand, there's certain situations, and you know this too, there's certain situations where you guys love to get hit. And, a couple of years ago, it was back in 2009, 2010, it was like every single time the setup was almost perfect for that area of
heavy snow.
For a lot of snow. And it has been challenging because, we go back a little way. So 09, 010, it was like every 3 days, hey, Mark, it's going to snow. I was right the following year. Remember, you remember how rough it was. I kept missing those things. In 2010, 11, they kept popping out to the north again. It was really maddening because I keep score of everything. I mean, this is like a big wrestling match to me.
You're really into this. Like I am the constant. That's cool. I'm going to tell you. I know it's going to get bad here from our perspective because Fox has some reporter down the road in the middle of the main street that goes through the town here. So,
you know what? It's funny when I listen to you. I hate to make light of it, but I take comfort in some of the things I go through because I know how well you know the Constitution. And this stuff has got to be driving you out of your mind. I think I love the Constitution, but you're really into it. Well, just imagine when I hear these things about the weather. Can you imagine? It's like my head is about to explode sometimes.
Yeah. It's all politicians, ignorant politicians and phony scientists fixing the records.
Well, I'll tell you what, ignorance begets arrogance, and I think you see that and vice versa. I mean, they go hand in hand. It's very synergistic.
Now, Joe, if people want to follow you, do you have a social site and so forth?
Well, I'm on weatherbell.com, and, what happens is...
Say that again?
Weatherbell.com. It's a company I helped start several years ago when I switched from one company to another there. And, we're building a business from ground up, but a lot of the stuff that I do is behind the paywall, but I do, tweeting. I'm on a Patriot Post. I don't know if you read that. It's a conservative blog, and every once in a while they let me put my opinion in there. But, and what am I, Joe Bastard or something like that on Twitter.
Very, very good. Well, you're worth following. I want people to know you're a fascinating guy. And give my best to your family and take care of yourself, brother.
All right. Well, you enjoy the weather. It's the only
I won't. All right. Take care. Bye-bye. I'm staying inside. I have to walk my doggy, Barney, 4 times, so we'll go out after the show as we do. But he's a little dog. So what happens is, that spongy, the cushion under their paws, Mr. Producer, it starts to get hard and it hurts. So I just assume he'll have some crap accidents in the house. May I say, with all due respect, I'll be right back.
Marc Levin.
Andrew, Fort Myers, Florida, where I need to be right now, the great WFSX. Go!
Yeah, hey, Mark, this is Andrew McCurdy. Hey, I just I'm actually en route to the hospital room. My second grandson was being born while I was on hold.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you. We're here in Southwest Florida, the only state not affected by global warming.
Well, you have your priorities right. I come before your grandchild, obviously. I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
No.
Yes.
Thank you for being a warrior for liberty and a voice for the majority of Americans. You have such a powerful voice of reason for me, my family, and hopefully our elected leaders. But, I do worry about the future. My wife and I have small businesses, and you were talking about the snow shoveling and the permitting, and, it seems like good people are easy prey for authority figures, to assert their practice and practice their authority on people. And instead of the real offenders, the habitual criminals, and ISIS. And so, that's why I originally had called you when you were all fired up at the beginning of the show, and where's the UN? Not a peep. They want to
that is an excellent point. Where is the UN? Where's the Security Council? Where's everybody? I'll tell you why. Obama's not using the UN. He's not even pushing it.
Yeah.
It's like this guy doesn't care. Don't you get that impression?
Oh, it's sad. I've always been a pie-in-the-sky thinker. I've always thought there was nothing that could go wrong in the future. But, I've got grandkids now. I've got a growing family. And with businesses, even though we're doing great in our businesses, I worry for other people, not myself anymore. And it just seems like things are exploding into chaos before our very eyes.
And this guy actually thinks he's doing a grand job. Well, there was a report I saw, Paul Bedard, in the Washington Examiner, so you should know that many of the historians who write about presidents and grade them and so forth, Obama is considered mediocre right now. But they'll rewrite that. They'll fix all that. He's the first this, the first that, the second that, the first to do this. That's why Obama's out there doing all the stupid little stuff. because to do the really big stuff would take a very serious president. And it's one thing to blow off the Republicans in Congress because they're very easy prey. Those are that's picking the bottom of the barrel there. But taking on ISIS and China and Russia and all these other things and working through all that actually takes a statesman, which he's not. I think he knows it in many ways. That's why he's playing golf all the time. Thank you for your call and good luck with your grandchild. We salute our armed forces, police officers, firefighters, and emergency personnel. And tonight, if I may, personal privilege, the guys that drive the snow trucks. Be safe out there. See you tomorrow, America. I'm Marc Levin. Armed forces, police officers, firefighters, and emergency personnel. And tonight, if I may, personal privilege, the guys that drive the snow trucks. Be safe out there. See you tomorrow, America. I'm Marc Levin.